So all the sages, I would say most of the sages, when they want to meditate, they go to higher regions like mountains, and many masters, they have meditated in caves which are not accessible to human. They have, even today if we look into those caves, they are in high altitude, they are in places where it's not accessible. The reason being that is meditation in those places are more effortless, it's more easy, because the more the altitude, more better is the meditation. Lesser is the gravitational field. More the gravitational field is there, more we are in our mind. Our mind is very active. Lesser the gravitation force, that means we are moving up towards the sky, towards the heaven, right? The gravitation force is getting reduced and we start feeling lighter. So we have heard these terms like lightheadedness and like a blank feeling during high altitude. We also listen to cases of hallucination or seeing visions when we are in altitude. Though the science would say they are hallucination and all these things, from my perspective they are the subconscious material coming us for us to heal. Sometimes these impressions may not be very like happy or pleasing, but whatever is coming through, if we are able to be aware of it, we will be able to heal ourselves a lot. So that's the reason one point for Kailash Yatra is we can release our baggage there. It says if we are doing the Kora, we can come out of our karma, right? Why do they say that? Because during the Kora we are releasing our subconscious mind. We are putting it there, we are putting our baggages out. Because of a high altitude we are in a zero state, and in our society where we are meditating in our homes and we are working, we can't reach that kind of state being in our homes. But in those very high energetic place, like when I'm talking about Kailash Mansarovar, they are like thousands of masters. They have gone there and meditated, their energies are there, they have vacated their bodies. Many masters have gone there just to vacate their body in Kailash Mansarovar. So the place itself has such energy, like we say Shiva is sitting there. So Shiva means consciousness, and we can feel, we can reach pure consciousness states just being in the Kailash Mansarovar field. So it's very high energy field there, and there are portals, right? Those are the places where you can find portals to the non-physical world, right? So we hear stories about Yeti and like seeing aliens, and so many stories are there that happens there very like even in Kailash, I mean in Mansarovar, it's mostly in the full moon days. In the night we can see the stars coming down, like some kind of lights coming down, and we can see it from our eyes. It is possible to see these things more effortlessly there because of this huge energetic enlightened field that we are surrounding in. So healing becomes more effortless there, meditation becomes more effortless there. Any seeker, any person who wants to know themselves more deeply, they want to heal themselves, I feel going into these kind of power spots is very, very helpful. Once you get there, for me personally, I feel that after I have gone there, I feel like a personal connection with that place. Like I can feel that place is supporting me all the time. Not even like a single day have passed when I have not thought about Kailash mountain, Mansarovar, right? So I always feel that is helping me, and not only me, many Kailashis when I have spoken to, they have shared the same thing, that it has, how it has healed them, how it has changed their life. And there is something bigger that we connect to when we are in those places. Always we are in our bodies, in our mind, in our families, in our owns things, right? But when we are in these places, we connect to something much, much bigger than us. So that is one way to look at altitude. So in a way, altitude sickness is happening to people who are not able to be with the zero state. We have a tendency that we want to think something, we have to do something. We are not able to be in the non-doing state. We are not able to be with the surrender state. We are not able to be with just with nature. We want to think about what's going to happen tomorrow, how I'm going to benefit with this. Even for Kailash Yatra, we think like that. How can it benefit me? If am I getting any experiences out of world experience there? Will I encounter some yeti or some masters coming across? We want to always think in our mind, oh, this is happening to me, yeah, I am feeling this. So we want to be in our mind and keep talking, and we don't be in the moment, and we miss out on the real experience that's happening there. So this thinking is a non-supported thinking in the Kailash Mansarovar area. And what happens is, the more we feel that, because we are not used to be in zero states of our mind, we are not used to be in meditation for long hours. So what happens is, we want to get back to our mind, we want to get back to our identity, because that's also very threatening, to lose our identity, right? So we want to get back, and this contradict of, oh, I want to be myself and get back into my thinking, and that space telling you be in zero state, because that space is like that, it makes you in a zero state. So this conflict is, I would say, creates the altitude sickness, right? So more the conflict in a person, the more the altitude sickness. That's my understanding of altitude sickness, though I know many scientists, maybe they will not agree to what I'm saying, but I'm sure the metaphysics have some way to define altitude sickness. What happens is, when you are going into higher altitude, that's the scientific aspect what I'm talking, the oxygen level will start growing lesser and lesser. The oxygen level gets less. Our heart is pumping very hard to get oxygen in our body, to feel nourished, to feel live. So the body feels like a threat, right, that it will die. But if we are doing our spiritual sadhanas, like we are into meditation or inner work, what happens is, we start breathing something which is not oxygen. We start breathing prana. So especially in meditation, when you are deep in meditation, if you have ever experienced, you will see your breathing has gone very slow. We don't require that much of oxygen. What we are breathing that time is, we are breathing prana, right? And the same prana we were breathing when we were in the mother's womb also. We did not require oxygen. The baby does not need like a direct oxygen to breathe, but it's breathing prana. Same thing happens in altitude, friends, when we are going there and we have just learned to breathe oxygen. Then our body is supposed to feel threatened, because we have only understood the physical aspect of it. But rather, if we have experiences where we know meditation and we know how to breathe, right, prana, then in this altitude, we need to sustain the meditative state. We need to keep getting aware of where we are, and just be with the breath, because the entire journey of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra for me was like a zero state. At some point of time, I was not able to think anything, not even my name, not even where I am, not even to think what part of the day it is, because I don't have a phone to talk to someone, and it was just being with this inner journey. So I read a book of mountaineer. He was a Russian mountaineer, and he tried to climb Mount Kailash few times. and that time, now these times we cannot climb Mount Kailash, but that time they gave him permission. The Tibetan government or the Chinese government, that time they have given permission to him. So he tried the first attempt and he could not. Then he tried the second attempt, then he could not, and lastly he just bowed down to the mountain saying, you know, I just respect you, and you know, I will not try to conquer you. Later, when he has written a book, in the book he has written his experiences, and he was saying that when he was climbing the mountain, a certain force was there which was not letting him climb the mountain. He also wrote that when he was climbing up, he was losing his direction. He was forgetting if he is going down or he is going left or right or up. So there was a loss of direction, and he has recorded many of this incident where, you know, the current modern scientist would say that is a hallucination, or you know, it's a kind of acute mountain sickness because of which we get these delusional visions. But for me, and I'm sure for many of people who are into meditation and they are into the inner journey, they will understand that these are very common experiences that happens, you know. So somewhere the mountain was telling him that you are not ready to climb this sacred mountain, right? And only person who has climbed the sacred mountain was Milarepa, the great sage Milarepa, because in one of my interaction with the Kailash Mansarovar, one monk, when we were speaking about who can climb this Kailash mountain, and he said only a person who has released all his baggages, who is out of all his sins, a pure person can climb Mount Kailash.